Hi guys, welcome back. Eric's UK here with another vid. A few days ago, BashBizznet posted what is a cinematic style of play. Quite an interesting little vid actually. Now, according to the free dictionary, which I have here in front of me, the free online dictionary, should rephrase that, cinematic is an adjective of or pertaining to or characteristic of the cinema, which really doesn't fit gaming whatsoever, really. So I don't quite know. I know how... I think I should rephrase that. It's to do with the style or way in which you either run or present a game. For instance, there's only two RPGs I've ever really tried to do this with. One is Call of Cthulhu, because I'm a big Lovecraft fan. I love the work, I love the mythos and everything else. But I find that as a role-playing game, it doesn't quite work if you try and play it to the purest sort of level. You know, this thing where you read online and what have you, the players, you know, all the characters died or they went insane by the end of it, which is all well and good if it's like a one-off scenario. But if you're running it as a campaign, then surely you want the characters to survive. You know, so I prefer to run Call of Cthulhu in what I very loosely sort of dub a film noir. In my mind, it's a black and white private investigator movie. That sort of look to it, that sort of feel to it. It's not the kind of full blunt horror and insanity that it is portrayed in the various short stories. And I think that works quite well. It means that you're not being harsh on the characters. You want them to survive so you can continue the campaign or whatever it is you're running. Because after all, you want to see the same people get through to the end, surely. You know. However, saying that, I have run it. I ran the Masks of Nyarlathotep campaign in the early 2000s in the style of The Mummy and The Mummy Returns. It was much more sort of like pulp action, and that worked really, really well. Again, you didn't worry so much about trying to bump off characters or drive them insane. You let it just kind of play as an action movie, and that worked really well. The only other game that I've tried to do and would like to do again is Deathwatch, the Warhammer 40k RPG where you play Space Marines, and in that it's one of the few games where I say to players, you know, if you want a twink, if you want a power game, you want a seriously optimised character, then do it, you know, go for it. I want you to be the biggest badass possible. And I like the idea of running that in the style of, you know, over the top action movies like The Expendables or something like that, you know, coupled with the fact that they're Space Marines, you know, play them as they're presented in sort of like the novelisations and the fluff, as opposed to how pathetic they make them in the war game itself. You know, in that sort of game, I want a lone character with just 11 rounds left in his bolt gun taking out 13 mooks. You know, he managed to get 2 of them with 1 shell sort of thing. I want them leaping across, you know, the trenches and with 1 fist basically making the head of the traitor guardsman evaporate into a spray of blood, and then a spider web of cracks coming out of the wall behind him sort of thing. You know, that sort of over the top, you know, sort of action film. I've never tried to do anything similar to that with Pathfinder or D&D or anything like that, because I'm not entirely sure A, how you would do it, and B, whether it would work quite like that. But again, people's different experiences. So yeah, I think, to bring this to a swift conclusion, I think cinematic is what you as a GM and as a group make it, as opposed to being a direct sort of attempt to make the game more movie-like. I think you've got to pick an aspect within the cinema genre, as it were, and try and run a game in that sort of fashion. that's the only way I can think of to do it for role-play games. But there you go. I'm going to wrap up on there. Take a look at his vid if you haven't seen it, and I'd be interested to see your thoughts as well. So thank you for watching, and take care and good gaming.